Hey, let's check out this red belt form. So let's get it started. I bow in like normal. Boom, boom, jumbi, ayah. When I hear go or sijek, I'm gonna go into a fence position. It's like somebody's in really close with me. I'm not trying to be aggressive about it, and I'm asking them a question that I want them to answer. If I've decided I'm gonna throw the punch first, I'm gonna throw the punch when they're not expecting it. So they're answering the question. Hopefully it's not a yes or no question. I throw my punch from this position. The other hand comes back to my ribs. I'm in a nice front stance. My right foot step to the right, and I'm punching my hand with the right hand. Going low, round kick, shuffle step, high, round kick, high, neck and X-lock. From here, I'm gonna pull and press. It's like I'm grabbing somebody's arm that I just locked, pulling it across my body, and then straightening it across my other hand. That's why this motion is going downwards. Footwork wise, as I'm pulling them this way, I want them to spin around the outside. So I'm gonna keep my lead leg where it is and make my back leg go around the back, turn my back on the way I was facing before, step around and get into that middle stance with my left hand pressing the knife. Okay, from here, I'm gonna take that hand and I'm gonna continue to turn towards the direction I was facing or going towards the whole time. Turn, I'm gonna put this hand down, look back towards my starting position. Make sure you're aiming it towards your start. I'm gonna go side kick, make sure it's straight, make sure it's stomping, give it some power. I'm gonna put my left hip, which is the same knee that's down right now, down on the ground. I'm gonna put my hands up, I'm gonna turn to the other side. Right now I've got my left knee and my left hand up, while my right leg is the one that's out straight, my right hand is the one that's on the ground. I'm gonna do a tactical get up. My right foot is gonna go between my foot and my right hand, and I'm gonna kind of pull myself back. Get as much space this way as you can because the other half of the form takes up more space, especially if you're not careful with it. Okay, that ends segment 2. Segment 3 I think is the easiest. It's a bunch of kicks. So I'm gonna go lead, round kick, lead, hook, with a slide on the hook. 1, 2. Now I'm gonna go front kick, jump, front kick. 3, 4. Now, last segment, I think it's the toughest one. I'm gonna move in a little bit so you can see my hands a little bit better. I'm gonna go inward block, press, punch, punch with a little slide. This hand was imagining I'm blocking a punch. So I've got their arm, this hand just punched them in the face. So I wrap up their arm around the outside, grab behind their neck. I'm gonna yank them and spin them. Sort of like what we did on our high X, but it's now grabbing their neck and their shoulder. I'm gonna spin them around, facing the same angle we started. My left hand is grabbing their head, left knee does the strike. I'm gonna step back, I'm gonna bring this hand up, I'm gonna pass their shoulder down and raise the shoulder on this side up to kind of spin their body through and then high low, okay? So, hardest segment, let me show it to you fast, and then I'll show it to you just segment 4 because I think that's the one that's the hardest. Let's see, if I start here, you should be able to see me, right? Try not to go too far over there. Hopefully you can see the second half. All right, let's look at segment 4. So, segment 4 has a idea in it where we're blocking and try to counter as fast as we can. We do that with certain moves, like let's say I'm blocking with my blocks that we do in sparring all the time, quadrant blocks. I can go block, counter, block, right? Or I could go boom, and I could do it at the same time. Block and counter. Problem with that though is when I'm blocking inward, like a parry, I'm kind of covering my punching lane. So I have to be kind of quick and get it right afterwards. So if I block their hand, I want to pin it against their body right afterwards. So I'm blocking and trying to pin that hand in so that I don't have anything stop me from punching them, right? So that's the first movement. Then I'm taking that arm and I'm trying to go like kind of underneath of it. So I pinned it, boop, and I'm going to go under it and kind of grab it in like this and grab their head at the same time. I know, I'm like got a stick on my hand. I don't know if that makes any sense. But imagine this hand has their arm, wrap up their arm kind of like this, and then grab their head, and I could knee them from here, or I could spin them and knee them, or do both, knee them, spin them, and then knee them, whatever. But the form shows inward block, press, punch, punch is your simultaneous block and counter into a shoulder lock, a spin, a knee, and then a shoulder turn or shoulder spin takedown. All right, that last movement, let's show it to you again. I'm going block, press, punch, punch, shoulder lock. I'm gonna spin them around me. As they're off balance, I'm gonna knee strike them. I'm gonna pull them, grab the shoulder on this side, push it up, push the shoulder on this side down, make them turn underneath. They're starting to fall on their back, and then smash them with that hammer. So that's that segment. Trickiest one. Not gonna get it just from this video, but hopefully this video helps for you to piece it together one thing at a time. Again, using those angles to really help you. When we do the left wing of the form, everything kind of lines up on that left wing, maybe with the exception of that punch. Same thing on the right wing. Everything pretty much lines up on this right wing. Either you're aiming to the right 45 end point, or you're aiming to your starting point on the way back. And that kind of changes as you go, right? So here I am, I'm doing my tactical get up. I should be aiming after segment 2 towards my starting point. Round hook, front kick, jump, front kick. I continue, inward block, press, punch, punch. I'm gonna wrap up that shoulder lock. As I grab them and spin them, I want my feet to make a 180 turn. This foot stays in place, but this foot's gonna end up over here, in line with my start, or maybe a little bit past it, depending on how far you went. Don't go too far past. I spin. Now, I lined up with my starting point, so that means I should also be pointing towards my 45-degree corner, right? I did my knee, my bow. How do I step? Do I step over here? Well, no, that's not the line that we were talking about. I step back, I circle, and I block, okay? So little things like that, navigation-wise, is gonna help a lot. And you can take all that advice and put it on the opposite wing as well. I was mentioning earlier that your distance going away from the start is usually less than the one going forwards, especially if you're not being careful. Okay, so what do we have in the first half? We've got that punch, which starts me off a little bit to the side over here. So I was at 0, a little bit too far on this side, bow. When I kick and I shuffle, you don't have to shuffle all the way feet back. Maybe do kind of a partial shuffle and get that momentum into the kick, high X. I'm about 1.5 stance past my starting point, another stance, I pivot, I kick twice, I roll. Now when I get up, I'm gonna scoot, I'm gonna kind of correct myself. Sometimes you guys end up facing too far to the side here. Correct the angle as you get up if you're not perfectly straightened right now, and pull yourself backwards as you do it. So instead of just standing up right here, see if you can stand up with a little bit of a slide to help you make it the distance. Aha, you can't even see me anywhere, I disappeared. Now moving forwards, I only have one slide to this next part, it doesn't have to be huge. So I kick, and then I slide. It's a very small slide. I watched some people doing this recently, and if they're doing huge distances past the start, it's because they started it going 1 step, huge step, 2, and then they did a huge, well, this is normal, and then a huge jump forwards. And then when they did the block and press, they did step, step again, and then they did the other stuff normal. So if all of those slides are bigger than they should be, you're gonna be way past your start. Overall, all those slides in the one half, the hook and the sliding crosses, should take about 1 stance. So if it does more than that, that could be a big reason why you're going too far. And if your jump front kick is passing your front foot too much, if you're kicking and you're finishing about where you started, then that's about right. But if you're kicking and ending like Way out here, well, no wonder you're not having enough space, right? So little things like that to help you guys out.